Sounds all right?
Okay, you're on.
Okay, good morning. Welcome to this presentation about the new California Community College ICT Collaborative. Please forgive some of this introduction. There are viewers online who haven't heard some of this, and some of you have. Over the past 25 years or so, we've had a major paradigm shift. The world has changed. There's been an information and communication technologies revolution that has affected everyone who is successful in society, including students, workers, organizations in all industries, government, citizens. Information and communication technologies, or ICT, is a big umbrella term. It basically encompasses everything related to computers, communication technologies. It's a superset term. Hardware, software. Software doesn't do much without hardware. Networking is a combination of hardware and software. Telecommunications and the internet, so all of these things are interrelated, interdependent, and need to be considered together in terms of policy planning and educational system delivery. ICT is not a term that we made up. It's used widely outside the U.S. By the UN, European Union, International Telecommunication Union. Pretty much anywhere you go outside the U.S. that requires a passport, they use this ICT term. But it's a very difficult field. It's new, it's fast-moving, it changes, there's inconsistent nomenclature, lots of technical jargon, new stuff popping up quickly, convergence of previously separate things. It's a very difficult field to keep up with. The Mid-Pacific ICT Center, based in San Francisco, has been focused on improving ICT education with a focus on community colleges in a region. That region is Northern California, Northern Nevada, Southern Oregon, Hawaii, and the Pacific Territories. And some of what we've done is labor market research. You've probably heard this term, all the IT jobs went to China and India. Not true. Some of our study results show that ICT industries are big and important in California. 4% of companies, 6% of private sector revenues, 4% of the workforce, but 12% of private sector wages. ICT industry wages are about twice the average in the state, and they're growing rapidly. And if you aggregate ICT, it rises up in lists. This is an example of that. The information category includes things other than just ICT. It includes newspapers. If they're not doing well, that causes the information category to not be getting larger, creates a false impression that ICT is not doing well. In fact, ICT wages are number 2 in this state. ICT employment is in all industries. It's not just those companies that make ICT products and services. Biotech would not exist without ICT. All industries depend on it. And ICT workforce roles represent 1 in 20 jobs in the U.S. They also represent 1 in 20 jobs in California. Very strong growth prospects. The jobs, on average, pay twice the median in the state. They're doing very well. We went out and talked to a bunch of companies in California, more than 600, and represent the diversity of the state. 80% of them agree or strongly agree that ICT is important to the productivity of their organizations. We took some broad brush roles. 2/3 of firms think that roles supporting ICT end users are important. 2/3 think that roles that support enterprise-wide and data center systems are important. 71% think that roles supporting the internet, and other online and web-based systems are important. So that's across all industries and company types, sizes. Not surprisingly, ICT management roles are more important for companies that are in ICT industries. Same with hardware and software development roles. Same with marketing and sales roles for ICT-related products and services. But everybody agrees that ICT workforce roles are increasing in importance for their companies. And ICT companies, those that produce ICT goods and services, have better prospects than other industries over the next 2 years. The ICT workforce is going to do better than non-ICT workforce roles over the next 2 years. And half of all firms report difficulty finding appropriately skilled ICT workers in this state. Very surprising and disappointing, but a great opportunity for all of us. We need to be developing people with the right knowledge and skill sets for employment today, and we're not doing it. Half of California firms do not require a bachelor's degree for at least half their ICT workforce. Lots of these companies don't know whether California community colleges are doing a good job developing the ICT workforce. And there was strong support for standards, academic standards, that would help employers understand the value of academic credentials in ICT, both in the applied technology domain, those who are going to work in IT departments, and in the user domain. So there's strong support for digital literacy credentials. Lots of feedback from business and industry about the importance of non-technical skills, soft skills, professional skills, workplace skills. We hear that over and over again. We have to hear that. We have to respond to that as education. So part of what IMPIC did was to use these study findings to argue in Sacramento and elsewhere that this is a really strategically important sector and deserves more attention, including more attention from educational planners. These studies are available free on the IMPIC website. A Phase 3 study came out this summer and again shows that workforce demand is strong. 1.2 million Californians are in the ICT workforce in the first quarter of 2011. Strong job growth. But workforce demand is chaotic. A real-time search of job postings in all the employer sites and job boards and recruiter sites in one market showed more than 2,300 total job listings. There were more than 1,900 different job titles. That makes it very difficult to understand workforce demand and what we're supposed to be preparing students to do. On the supply side, it's also a tough story, though, because of 48 community colleges we studied, there were 129 different academic departments that had 93 different names. Those departments offered 303 different associate-level degrees, but they had 263 different unique titles. As far as academic certificates go, 606 certificates offered with 522 unique titles. That devalues the ICT-related academic credentials of all of us because employers don't know what we're producing. You get a resume, it says degree in computer something or another, you have no idea what that person knows and can do. So it's a chaotic marketplace. and we need to do a better job matching ICT workforce demand and ICT workforce supply. We have this Tower of Babel problem, people using words that mean different things. There's very poor communication in this space. We think we're talking about the same things, we're not. There's a whole bunch of different perspectives. Part of the confusion has to do with different dimensions of ICT in education. Because ICT is used to improve school operations, the efficiency of schools as enterprises. It's used to improve teaching and learning in all fields. So how do you integrate video? How do you use technology to make student learning better? There's the dimension of digital literacy, which is ICT is a basic skill for everyone. There's ICT academic pathways, which are preparing students for graduate schools and advancing the field. There's also career technical education, preparing students for the ICT workforce. We've used this tool effectively. It's an ICT pyramid. We're talking about depth of knowledge and skills. At the base is the user level. That's the domain of digital literacy. Everybody needs to know how to use this stuff today to be successful, no matter who they are, no matter what they do. The first bar above that represents entry-level employment in the ICT workforce. Those are roles that support users, help them be effective users, and help desk roles. The enabler dimension is the IT operations of enterprises, those that install infrastructure for their users. They apply mature technologies in the real world. At the top level is the creator dimension, the innovators, those who advance the field. And between creators and enablers is the sales interface between new products and services and their customers in IT operations. So salespeople, sales engineers. But again, ICT is everywhere. It's not just in ICT industries, it's in all industries. And there's some industry-specific stuff out there. So you need to understand regulatory environments for your industry. You need to understand common systems, trading systems in financial services or other technologies like SCADA in energy. There's an overall phenomenon of migration. Technologies are very specialized and available to few in their initial phases, and then they get pushed down to users over time. So, user level is an important opportunity for community colleges. We need to figure out what we're going to do about the digital literacy. It's something that should be required in K-12 education. It should be remediated at community college. It makes every student at a community college potentially a student of an ICT program. At the innovation level, there's an interaction between hardware and software knowledge and skills and business and management knowledge and skills. This is the dynamo, the engine that produces growth. And to the extent that your knowledge and skills overlap in multiple areas, you are more valuable than if you're specialized in just one. But these innovation engines produce all kinds of different things. They basically identify a business opportunity or problem and then creating a solution for that, putting it out in the world. And there's a whole smorgasbord of different solutions that are out there. In the IT operation level, you got to sort through all of that stuff. And for us as educators, it's hard to figure out which of those solutions we should really be teaching in school. All of these things, some of these things, it's like trying to figure out the composition of an atom without adequate tools. We have some models, some ways of structuring interactions with business and industry. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that, but Employers want a strong academic foundation, which these days includes digital literacy. They also want soft, personal, workplace effectiveness skills. There's a whole dimension of interaction there. That's important. We cannot ignore that. We have to deliver that somehow. And they want employees that have more than just technical knowledge, who understand how organizations work and how IT operations deliver services. So at the conclusion of this phase 3 study, we talked about how there's a bunch of different problems with labor market information, and basically there was a recommendation that we come up with basically a common core for community college degrees in the state, so that any student who comes out of a California community college with an academic degree knows and can do at least this. So there's a common baseline. There's some value to a community college ICT-related credential, and that that common core is built around student learning outcomes. So this is a recommendation, something that we could work toward, something that business and industry have said that they would value. Right now, articulation and transfer is a mess. It's basically a one-to-one negotiation between programs at any individual school. If we're going to make that more efficient, we have to align to something. So we need to work on harmonization. We need to work on some sort of alignment. So the good news is, and the focus of this presentation is, this message got through, and the state, the Community College Chancellor's Office in Sacramento created a new collaborative, the California Community College ICT Collaborative, which I'll ask Pierre to talk about.
Yeah, so this is something which is a great development. EPIC has been in operation for about 3 years, and we fortunately, with all the research that was done, were identified as a potential place where this collaborative could be housed. And so there was an RFP that came up last June that we responded to. And then I have to tell you a little bit about how it works here in California. California is made up of a certain number of regions. There is 10 regions. There is 113 community colleges. And each region has some funding from the State Chancellor's Office to create what they call consortia. So every region has a consortium. This is for career technology education. And the State Chancellor's Office also has, parallel to these consortia, which are specifically addressing regional concerns in CTE, in career technology education, they have a certain number of what are called initiatives. Collaboratives. A collaborative is a statewide initiative that is funded by the State Chancellor's Office and for funds from the Department of Education, Perkins Fund. And the objective of this collaborative is to help in a certain sector the growth and the sustaining of courses and degrees in education from all community colleges in the state. And so this RFP came up in June, and EPIC responded to it, and we were funded. And this is quite amazing because there was no collaborative on this topic. There were several collaboratives that have been, put in place in the state for many years, and there was a vacuum. And I want to recognize the champion of this, Mr. Paul Barnes, who is in the audience, and who is with the State Chancellor's office, who has followed the work of MPIC for several years and has been pounding at the powers to be for creating this collaborative. So we have a lot of appreciation of this effort. Now the work comes to us. I am the director of this collaborative with the support of MPIC. We don't have a lot of support. The funding coming from the state is relatively modest, but the fact that we have some funding from the federal government to NSF, we are able to do quite a lot of things. So the first thing we did, and it's on the screen here, is identify in each of these consortia, which are related to each of the regions, and you can see region far north, their number from 1 to 10, and if you look at the geography of California, it's a very interesting grouping because I think in its wideness, the organizers at the State Chancellor's office were able to regroup geographically, but also with special interests. So the Bay region is being put together, and you can see some, if you know the geography of California, you can see that there is different interests and different emphasis in different regions. And the consortia are focusing on that. We, as the collaborative, have gathered these representatives who have been appointed by each regional consortia to work with us in trying to develop a plan of action in trying to deal with the issues that James brought up in the introduction. So I want to introduce the people here. I already introduced our project monitor, Paul Barnes, but Karen Stanton is with the College of the Canyon, and she has a lot of history as being a key person in the Cisco Academy area, and so we thought she would be a great person to, because MPIC that traditionally covers only Northern California, to expand to Southern California, and that's been a very successful objective. A person who is not named here and is on my right is Olivia Harry-Ford, who is the Associate Director of MPIC, who joined us only recently, and this site has been middle of the summer. So she's also very key because she's assisting us in this effort. And I want to recognize her here, and she'll probably be able to talk a little bit about it. So about what we're trying to do. In the past 4 months that we have been in operation, we have had 2 meetings, one in Sacramento and one recently in the Los Angeles area, and we were able to come up with a set of a mission statement, which was in the slide before. And I want to read that mission statement. It's very important when you have a new organization to determine what we want to do. And so we agreed on this terms, to advance ICT education programs at California community colleges and to enable a diverse student population to succeed in meeting industry and business ICT workforce needs. We really feel, like it was mentioned in the introduction, that we have a lot of work to do. And we are not going to be able to realize this in the next 6 months. But we are, I think, on the right track. And in the past few months, there is a couple of activities that have been completed that we really needed to serve as the basis for this the next step. And I want to say one effort that has been done by MPIC in Northern California was to mine the website of all the 48 Northern California community colleges and identify which department in that college was in charge of ICT programs and what they were offering. And so we did that in the North over the past 2 years. And in the past few months, Karen has been kind of leading that effort in Southern California, and now we have a vision of the whole state, correct?
Correct.
And maybe you could say a little word about your experience doing that work.
Sure. I'm just pretty pretty new to this collaborative, and it's great fun, and part of the reason for that is because the project's just like way too huge. I mean, one of the things that I did to start with was to create what has been called one-pagers for each of the community colleges in Southern California. And basically the point to that game was to give a little blurb about the college itself and then promote each one of the departments that actually hosted ICT courses. And that way a prospective student could look and find out where the ICT courses were being held at that particular college. They would be all over the place. Some of them would only have one listing under the introduction of the college because all of their ICT courses were all listed in the same place. Others would have blurbs about maybe up to 7 different areas where these courses were being offered. And so it was very interesting for me to start developing a perspective of what California looked like and what the colleges looked like as far as where these courses were being hosted. So those are the pages.
So if you'll look at the slide up there, right now this stuff is hosted on the MPIC website. So all 113 in California community colleges, there's links to those colleges and the departments that have ICT-related offerings. We would encourage you to take a look at the information provided for your college, and if any of it is inaccurate, help us correct it. Because it's a very interesting and frustrating experience to go through websites and try to find things. So let's pretend that I'm a student and I'm interested in computer stuff. What's it like to go to this college's website and try to find my options? It's extremely frustrating. And I would encourage everybody to go through that exercise. I honestly believe that no one has ever done this before. Ever looked at the ICT-related offerings of all of California's community colleges. And we're really excited about this collaborative because we need to coordinate this field. We need to harmonize the offerings that we have across these colleges. 1 in 4 students that attend a community college in America attend a California community college. And we really are excited about this opportunity to create some coherence in this field. So there's a bunch of different activities that we're involved with, and we'd like to take you through some of these in the order of the slides that are here. So first off is the presentations to regional consortia. So we've been going out, we've been meeting with these regional groups and talking about ICT and strategic importance and opportunities to engage with this collaborative. Yes, Paul?
Can I ask a quick question? How many people here are aware that there's a regional consortium in your area, for your college? Do you know what it even is? That's the skill.
Okay. So this is a very good point. So let's expand on this. Yeah. I mentioned to you at the beginning there is a 10 region. So in your region there is a consortium, and this is actually, maybe we are teachers here. These are deans who take care of this business. So your dean of vocational education, or whatever you call your dean there, or CPE, is going to these meetings that are held on a monthly basis.
Monthly sometimes, but usually quarterly. And then there is some cross. Each college hosts a meeting. For Los Angeles, it will vary from different colleges, Los Angeles to Orange County.
And then they convene at the CCAOE conference.
That's right. And then one of their meetings, twice a year, their meetings is at the CCAOE meeting conference. So I am from the Bay Area, the region 3 and 4, 3 and 4. And then we actually meet often, in the Bay Area College. But then when CCAOE meets in San Diego, we have our monthly meetings over there. And so these are very important meetings because a lot of decisions are made about programming. Any college that has to promote a new program, new associate degree or new certificate, has to go through this filter before it's being sent to the state. So the colleges, the responsibility of one of the responsibilities of these consortia is to look at the supply and demand in the region and make sure that there is no overlap, there is no, that people do not overproduce graduates in a certain field and less in another field. So that's kind of the check before the program is being sent to Sacramento for endorsement. That's one of the, and another consortia, and this is where we come in, they will have a project because there's some funding from the state and they want to, for instance, improve health education. In our region, for instance, this year, there's a big effort in the consortium of the Bay Area to improve health education. So there are a lot of meetings for that. And then we have voted that next year, in 2012-2013, it's going to be ICT. So we have, in our region, in my region, the ICT Collaborative has a great platform because my region has decided that they wanted to focus on ICT. So we are really getting geared up to our collaborative to have some actions that we want to implement in several regions that are ready to do that.
One of the things you need to do if you're faculty member is make sure your dean comes back and tells your department director what's going on and gets it down to you. Because this is key because you learn about funding cuts in advance, you learn about programs in advance, and you learn about things like gainful employment and what purpose is going to drive for outcomes. So you can be proactive and also more efficient side of it. So you can go to the website and find all that out. But anyway, sorry to interrupt you, so I found that was important.
So we have about another 10 minutes.
Which is your college?
It's Columbia College, it's Manchester Junior College.
You're in the central region.
It's in the
You
center.
can go to the CCO website. Yeah, it's
Okay, I was wondering.
So we only have about another 10 minutes. I want to keep moving through a bunch of different things that the ICT Collaborative is doing and how you could engage with us. But we're already doing outreach through each of these consortia. We would love to engage with your regional consortium.
You did it already, region 9, so it's not on this slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have done already three regions. So we are seeking invitation from all the regions to make a presentation to their consortium and try to activate and encourage them to look at ICT and see how they can put that on their radar.
So to sort of kick things off in Southern California, where we're not very well known, last month the ICT Collaborative was co-host for an innovation summit, which was at the LA County Office of Education. The ICT Collaborative was the main co-host and a keynote presenter, and there was a lot of interest generated in Southern California for this effort. The ICT Collaborative is a co-host of this conference, and for the first time we've got probably 15 to 20 people from Southern California who we've been able to help come up here and attend and participate in this event. We also do a faculty development week event in the summer, which is a very different kind of event. It's an opportunity to go deep in one class for an entire week, learn to teach something new, keep up with technology change, come up with some new ways of teaching, pedagogical tools. We've done this in Northern California. We're going to do it in Southern California this year too. And Karen has been helping us come up with a venue and dates for that. You want to say anything about that?
Sure, it's really exciting that this year we get to have two, one in Northern California and one in Southern California. I've had instructors in Southern California want to go to the one that's been hosted the last few years here in Northern California, and it's always been a little sticky and difficult. So it's fabulous to have the opportunity for them to attend an event in Southern California. So the dates for that will be June 11 through 15? Yes, June 11 through 15, and it will be at Coastline Community College. And so we're already working with Coastline. It looks like they'll be really excellent. We'll be to offer some really wonderful professional development opportunities during that week. So hope to see some of you guys there, and I know that we'll get some instructors, plenty of instructors from Southern California too. So it's a really good opportunity. And then there will be the second Instructor Professional Development Week back up here in the Bay Area at Ohlone College. And that will be, is it the 25th? Oh, you've got the dates there, 25th to the 29th, which will be very similar to what happens in Southern California. So it's just fabulous that we get to duplicate that event now for Southern California instructors. So very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, and so there is some funds to assist faculty to come to these meetings, but we will encourage people to actually see if their college has special professional development money before they reach our collaborative or the NP for funding. And if you are on our mailing list, you're going to get updated on this very soon.
So this is a hard field to keep up with. If we don't keep up with it, we're irrelevant, and we recognize that, so we're trying to help everybody stay current. So we've also been engaging with this task force on student success. This is a big issue for ICT-related programs because degrees and transfer are not a goal of a lot of students in our programs. They're at community college to pick up knowledge and skills that allow them to get a job or to advance in the workplace. And many of the students already have a bachelor degree or a master's degree. And getting an associate level degree isn't even on their radar here at all. If we define student success as transfer or degree completion or certificate completion even, we're leaving we're going to abandon important students. So we've done some data collection as IMPEC in the past of more than 500,000 enrollments in ICT-related courses in California every year. We want to refresh this data and start to look at trends and be able to dig deeper into what classes are offered and which ones are popular and what are the demographics of students attending those. And this is actually fresh off the presses, and these numbers were inserted today.
So this is something that you worked on.
Oh, okay. I'll talk about this again. I'm talking it. We should hear from Olivia. But anyway, one of the other things that I worked on, which is very different from the one-pagers, it was looking at each individual community college and looking at where all their ICT degrees were being offered and where all their certificates were being offered. And so what I would do is I would go to the website of the college and hunt through everything. And it was very difficult, actually. A lot of the colleges, it was very, very difficult to find out where the degrees and ICT courses were being offered and where those certificates were being offered. But we've pulled that together for all of the community colleges now for all of California, and so there's a fairly good list. If you go on there for your college and you see something that's amiss or things that have been left off, please let us know so we can make those changes.
Great. But you can see the chaos here. 296 different academic departments, 182 different names. There's 607 different associate level degrees offered in California, 468 different unique degree titles, more than 1,500 academic certificates, 1,200 unique titles. I mean, you would think that randomness would not allow that much. So I'm going to continue this quickly because we're running out of time. So again, we've got listings of all the ICT-related programs. This is a resource that we can share with people. We're continuing to do data collection and analysis. We're developing some toolkits, one in particular for improving diversity in ICT-related programs, and also a toolkit for counselors, because a lot of counselors don't know how to advise students in this field, and we think that would be a big service to California. We are going to develop a website for the ICT Collaborative. We haven't yet, but we'll build on this momentum of IMPEC. There's a bunch of content here that can be repurposed for the new site. We also have a blog community at MPIC, which we're going to port over to the new site. The idea is, we're all sifting through media and finding information and news. If we could all share that to one place, then we're all, better informed and better able to keep up with changes. We have a YouTube channel which has no link restriction for MPIC. We're going to share the use of that with the ICT Collaborative. So any faculty member in the state who has longer content that they want to post somewhere, we can use our YouTube channel for that purpose. We've also been successful using Facebook at MPIC. We're proposing to do that with the ICT Collaborative as well. We're going to share labor market information, which we've collected through these studies. It's valuable stuff. It can help you justify programs and degrees and argue that your department leads to better job prospects for students than many of the other departments that are out there. Another thing we're very excited about is the use of CCC Confer to improve ICT education in the state. And some of the people we've been working with have been using it to teach. So simultaneously you serve students in the classroom, but you're also, like we're doing right now, serving the information out to students on the internet. So it's interactive in real time, but you can also archive that presentation so students who missed class can go back and get it. People who didn't get it the first time around can get it. It's a very, very exciting, powerful tool, and we think there are strong implications for improving ICT education in the state. Better outcomes. You can improve student recruitment. You can make classes run. You keep students. They don't drop out. You can help them get unstuck. Better student performance and completions. It's exciting. It's dynamic. And if we do that, we can expand both the depth and the breadth of courses that are offered in ICT. Because we have the possibility of one school specializing. Let's say that school is offering the EMC stuff to students everywhere. And another school can offer Juniper to students everywhere. And all of a sudden we're all better off because we got a whole lot more stuff offered. That's leveraging ICT technology to improve ICT education. CCC Confer is free to all California community colleges. It's a fabulous resource. And you can use it for a bunch of other purposes. But people who are willing to open their classes to remote students, we've been promoting their courses. And this is what we've got so far for spring 2012. Pretty strong portfolio of course offerings. They fluctuate from time to time. We want to push this, encourage more faculty to do this, and help faculty learn how to do this. But this tool is wonderful for a whole bunch of other reasons too. Faculty and staff meetings. It's a great way to capture content that you can share with people later. You can just archive your in-person lectures so that students can come back and review them later. You can push your lecture outside of the classroom so that you focus inside the classroom, as we heard this morning, on other kinds of things, projects and interactivity. We're using it to share out all of the presentations in this conference in real time and also asynchronously. Sick, disabled students, online office hours. We're really encouraging that ICT-related faculty work at CCC Confer. So sorry to rush that, but we were almost out of time. We encourage anybody to interact with us. This is the team right here. This is our contact information. Exciting things to come. The collaborative itself is going to be developing plans for the future. We're fortunate that we can build on some of the momentum that MPIC has in the past so that we're actually getting stuff done this year instead of, spending the whole year in planning. It's a really exciting opportunity to create some harmony and coherence in ICT education in California community colleges.
Yes, so the lesson is that if you don't know who your consortium is, make sure you know who your consortium is. Find out to be on the listserv that tells you where they meet, and then start talking to them about inviting, we're going to also invite them also to be invited to present at their meetings, and starting a part, start ICT. We can see the prospect of all the efforts we are doing that will create a little bit more harmony into this very chaotic system. Yes.
I just want to add another kudos to and thank the INTEC for the work they did with these studies. I work for the Career Alliance Project, but on the volunteer side, I'm the chairman of the Latino Institute for Corporate Inclusion, and we applied for a foundation grant with a large ICT industry-related company who received the grant to do a study to take a little further on the diversity of Latino and African Americans within the ICT. So we're looking forward to, with Chris's help, to continue this effort and maybe partnership with you in some way, because this is an industry that needs more diversity. And that's what I hear as a Latino Institute for Corporate Inclusion chairman, as I visit and travel around the country with companies that want diversity, and they're really looking to partner. So there's something there, so I want to thank you for those studies.
Well, as you saw, it's a major part of our mission, and I like to get, again, leveraging on what INTEC's doing. We are our first diversity track at this conference. We're working on the toolkit, and we look forward to working with partners and you and the rest of the people who are out there.
Take one more minute of your time if I can. There have been statewide collaboratives for years on the things that Pierre mentioned: agriculture, public safety, occupations, and business. One of the primary purposes of the collaborative is to get input from industry, synthesize that, and get it back to those program areas. I don't need this, do I?
The recording does.
One of the primary purposes of collaboratives is to get information from industry, synthesize it, and get it back to the colleges. Like Pierre said, we have a steering committee of 10 people, but the meetings by law are open to anybody. If there's a collaborative meeting for ICT or any other subject in your area, you're welcome to attend. Your input is welcome. And it's only going to work if you take this back to your colleges, tell them that this vehicle is available, and you start participating. You send input, let's we do a website or some kind of place to send input, a blog site, their ideas and their input, and get input back from others. Because it is a idea sharing vehicle. It's funded by Person's 1B Leadership's money. Probably going to cut some this year as well as your Person's money, just so you know. Because it is. So we need participation, we need ideas, and we need to meet the demands of these industry to keep ICT programs relevant. Because if you don't get jobs for the students, you're going to find your funding cut in your future. So it's a real important tool that these guys are trying to put together. If you have questions for me on here or anything in the Chancellor's office or Person's funding, I'll try to answer it. Also, in addition, I'm kind of sort of wonder that there's an avenue from our point of view too that's important that you understand. So we're not just those people up there in Sacramento that take things away from you or control what you do. We're trying to hear to help with you.
Okay, we're out of time. Thank you, everybody. Please do